Let's bring Gary into this now.
Well, I'm a real Gary, first and foremost.
So
Are you a real Gary? Fantastic. And I'm certainly not allowed to swear as a vicar. But I do sometimes, I confess. And I think we've got to put our debate into the context of the story. Because I was really challenged and I was really quite moved by the whole story, actually. Because I deal with grief a lot. And I have to deal with it, not every day, but I come alongside people who are suffering. And they're often suffering at a certain point in that whole cycle of grief. I'm not going to go through it with you, but I could see every level of that cycle of grief in this play. From the guilt, to the bargaining, to the anger, all the way through to getting through it. And actually, at our low points, exactly what you said, those pressure valves burst. And we don't know how to respond. We don't know really what to say sometimes. I don't know what to say sometimes. I just listen, and I'm alongside people. And we build the most strange relationships in those times with others who will understand us, or we hope will help us to understand what we're going through. And this is a story about grief. Actually, a little girl is lost. She disappears. And all the characters, they can't handle it. The police officers can't find her. And they're actually suffering from their own grief, aren't they? You want to go to the Isle of Man, and with your wife, although you're getting a bit friendly with
Catherine.
My new wife. And actually, if you look at every single character, they've got something of grief.
Yeah.
There's something about belonging, there's something about moving away, there's something about actually not being able to finish anything and loneliness. And all of these things are part of that horrible grief cycle which we will all experience at some point in our life. Sometimes swearing helps us not to do something else. And that something else can be really dangerous, not just to our health, but to maybe others. It could lead to violence. It could actually lead to ourselves taking our own life. Now, I've had to deal with people who've done that. So this is real. This play is real. Now, as a parent, I do not encourage my children, one of which is here, to swear. Although he'll tell me, but Dad, sometimes in the car, you take your dog collar off. It happens, because we're all human. But those are release valves. And I certainly wouldn't want to show that release valve in someone else, to someone else who I'm ministering to. But maybe something Joe said, we're maybe not used to hearing that so much, in the Cotswolds, in Cheltenham, where I'm a vicar. But it's there. It's there for all of us. And I don't think swearing is anymore something which we can associate with class or social upbringing or education. It's actually crept into the vernacular. You would be surprised, I seem to count them in my head, the number of people who actually use the word Christ a lot. And I often think, we praying, are we? But that one has crept in, and that's okay now. I think if there was a lot of Christs in this play, nobody would have batted an eyelid. Yeah? The F word's becoming more prevalent. If any of you have seen Game of Thrones, well, that's a journey into expletives, isn't it? But it's powerful. So I think my point is that in these fractured lives in which we all live and sometimes dip into, there are release valves which need to be tweaked. Perhaps we're using the expletives a bit too much and actually using it to make points. So maybe the next question is it now part of our natural conversation and it actually is used to make a point?